Matter Hatter Pro, and here's your host, RJ Arnold. And thank you, world, for tuning in and audience. Peace, love, and blessings to all of you. And we have a beautiful honor and a guest, Mr. DJ King Assassin from the West Coast. West Coast in the house as well as the East Coast. And this young man is a DJ, extraordinary producer, and he has DJ'd and produced for our legendary, revolutionary, and fallen king, Tupac Shakur. He's also worked with so many other artists, like Digital Underground and many more, and you guys will get to know him during this interview. Thank you for coming. It's an honor. How you been?
Man, I've been real good, RJ. Just, staying busy, staying positive, through the COVID times, and just coping with all the things of the world that's been going on and documenting it at the same time. This is a history of its first kind that we're going through right now. So it's very important for people to document it, very important to know about it, because it's something new. Not even our ancestry went through this, you know what I mean? So it's something new.
Yeah, true indeed. And we come from the legacy of the griots in the motherland,
right.
In Africa,
right.
as well as Latin America and all over the world. Our people is original people, and they've always told their stories. And my own pops always says, we all have a story, so we should all tell our stories.
Yeah, exactly. Because along the line, it got erased. Our history got erased through time, and being of the lesser value in the beginning of being enslaved to them. We built America, basically.
True indeed. And we were here before slavery. So what a lot of us are going to do, we're going to continue to shine a light, still deal with our liberation, and take our arts, especially the culture of hip hop, to the next levels to uplift all humanity, especially our people. And welcome again.
Right, because we are no longer the minority; we are the majority.
True indeed.
True indeed. That's why the COVID virus is pointed towards us. If you think about it, why are we the first ones when it comes to Blacks and Hispanics? They get the vaccine first, and then they're telling us it's made by a Black nurse. I mean, is that too much TMI? Is that like trying to convince us? Okay, since you're saying it's made by a Black nurse, so we should take it. Now that tells me they're just trying to fool us. You know what I mean? You got to look at the big picture. I ain't gonna take no vaccine. Are you gonna take that vaccine? I ain't gonna take no vaccine.
Not at all, because
unless I'm like, I'll be like, sick, and it's my last alternative. If it's my last alternative, then maybe I'm gonna go ahead and do that. But it ain't my last alternative right now, because I ain't sick.
We come from the Most High. The Most High's people, as the mothers and fathers of medicine and civilization and science and mathematics and knowledge itself and wisdom, brings forth justice and equality for all of us. We need to make sure that we live in a lifestyle of herbs, natural living, prayer, and meditation, which comes from the Most High. We embody the Most High as original people. And,
exactly. Everything's from the planet Earth that can heal you. Our bodies are made to heal.
Yeah, we embody.
Supplements are out there, natural.
Indeed, universal law. We gotta bring this world back to order in universal law, and that's what the Most High is doing right now. We are the Most High, and it's such a pleasure. DJ King Assassin, what were the first records that influenced you to be involved and make a name for yourself and uplift our community, local as well as global, out of Oaktown in hip hop? What were the first records that you said, I want to be this DJ and producer?
Right. You know what? It definitely didn't come from California when, for hip hop to influence me. It was more of the East Coast, because that's all that was doing it at the time when I was young. Like the West Coast was really on like more faster tempo, like Planet Rock sound. And they kept that Planet Rock sound for a minute, like Egyptian Lover and stuff like that. But I was more into like Schoolie D from Philly, listen to Looking at My Gucci. It's about this time.
True indeed.
We
talking like 86, 87.
And then I listened to somebody, and then my sister put me on to this rapper dude, and he didn't even, I don't think he called himself a rapper. His name was Blowfly.
Okay.
Blowfly. He was like one of the first guys I ever heard rapping. And it was like censored rap. It was like, he was all like a 1, 2, I say a fuck you. It would sound like it was like, you know, like Sanford and Son. What's old boy's name? From Sanford and Son? The comedian. It sounded like it was like him rapping, but it wasn't him rapping. It was Blowfly. Yeah, Red Fox, man. Rest in peace, Red Fox. I can't believe he's one of my favorite actors.
Rest in peace to Whitman Mayo, who played Grady and Bubba and Esther LaWanda Page, who's a great comedian, and all those people. I saw like one of our.
I could watch those every day, all day, the marathon, and play it over and over and over again, man. Nothing but fool laughs all the time.
Every day, all
man,
day.
There's nothing else close to it. That's real. You know, Blowfly was definitely an influence, especially when it came to the type of sound that he had, because he was like the NWA, the overrated like type of dude that wasn't, you know what I mean? Still don't get his props to this day. But at that time, everybody knew him in California. I don't know if it was just a California thing, because my sister put me on to Blowfly. And if you look Blowfly up right now, it'll say the time. I was a kid. I was like young. It was before Sugar Hill Gang, actually, Blowfly. He was like around when the Treacherous 3 and all them was doing their thing, I think. So
you talking about so you talking about, because Sugar Hill Gang, you're talking like 79.
Right. Because I was born in 71. So I was about, probably 8 or 9 years old, just listening to music, and that's what
hip hop culture. All praises due to to Most High and Godfather Kool Herc and African Bambaataa and Jazzy J and Red Alert and Chuck Chill Out and Pebbly Pooh and Shaw Rock and Grandmaster Flash and all of them. You know, you're talking about 73.
Girls, man.
Yeah.
All that.
Boy, breaking, DJing, MCing, health, wealth, beatboxing.
Yeah, the sequence.
B-boy, B-girl.
The sequence funk you up. We're going to funk you right on up. We're going to funk you right on up.
Yeah, sequence. Sugar Hill Records. Angie B, Angie Stone.
Angie B. And the reason why I say that is because I knew that was commercial as far as the, a rapper's delight. But Sugar Hill had also, the sequence and stuff like that was like underground rap. If you think about it, you know what I mean? A Rapper's Delight was just one song that, made it commercially. But it would have been. Is
it fair to say, was that, other than Blowfly, much props to Blowfly, would you say that Rapper's Delight was the record that jumped it off for you as far as DJing and producing?
Well, I think Sugar Hill really jumped it off for me more because that and Message by Melly Mel. Because when I heard that's when I knew it was.
And God bless the soul of Duke Booty. He just passed away. And he was one of the people that helped to influence and write, and he played in the band. So, God bless the soul of Duke Booty. He just passed away. God rest his soul.
Rest his soul, man.
Yeah, and much props to Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel, of course, the hip hop all-stars and grandmasters, and also the hip hop Hall of Famers, the first hip hop group to be in the Hall of Fame. We'll be playing more. So how old was you when you got your first record? And
probably about like 6 to 7. I got Parliament.
Yeah. And Funkadelic, right? Yeah, the other Godfathers, right?
Glory Holla Stupid. They had those long sentences. Glory Holla Stupid something. It was like a real long one word.
Okay.
And that was really like my first record funk.
Yeah, you still got those album covers, right? Oh, George and Paul and Funkadelic.
Yeah, man, incredible covers, man, incredible. Those are some of the best covers ever.
Did you ever perform and DJ and scratch at a block party or a community center in
community centers? A lot of community centers out here in California. I never got to do the block parties because we didn't have those a lot in California. But in New York and the East Coast was more of the block parties and stuff like that. I never even got to go to one, but I heard they were off the hook, especially at the parks over there. I got to do community centers. And
So when you were in high, so
also,
when you were in high school, did you play for your high school dances? Did you do any mixtapes? How did you really start getting out there where Tupac and others got to get to know you? How were you able to put your music and put your flavor?
Well, I started
DJ skills
DJing.
out there.
Right, I was DJing at high schools, but even before the high school, I remember I did my elementary school, and I took turntables to my elementary school, believe it or not.
Wow.
Because I was breakdancing when I was in 6th grade, and that was the last grade before you go to middle. So I DJ'd, and I would make mixtapes for the teachers would actually get the mixtapes from me, and I would just get it from the radio. I wasn't even like DJing with tables. I was pause mixing. I was using every time something came on KSOL, which is a station in the Bay Area. I would pause it, and then I'd wait for the next break to come in and unpause it, then pause it again, and wait for the same song to come on again so I could repeat whatever I wanted to repeat. I had to wait. So it was crazy. And I actually made mixtapes like that. And I sent one over to San Francisco, KPOO, which was a underground station, community station. And they played my pause mix on the radio. And I was playing with the big DJs there that really had turntables. And they were playing mine, which was a pause mixtape. Oh, wow. But I got real creative with that pause mixing. I did it where you can't even tell.
And how did Tupac and you meet? And how did he get a hold of you? And how were you able to work with Tupac and Eazy-E and Digital Underground?
And what were the records came about? It came about with Digital Underground was the thing back then, and I always loved just Shock because he was in the funk. I was in the funk too, so me and Shock always got together. He taught me how to make beats, how to play keys. Pac would be there with Digital Underground when they made that same song, and I'd be at all the shows, I'd be at all the shows with Tupac, and I remember we'd be backstage, and I'd be, Tupac, go ahead and rock this. I would warm him up before he goes on actually in the stage. And I was smoking weed back then, and I told Pac, here, you want some? He didn't even smoke weed back then. I think it was because he was more focused, and probably at that time, it was probably new to him, and he didn't want to mess up or whatever he thought it would do to him, you know what I mean? But at that time, the weed wasn't really doing nothing to anybody. Nowadays, you smoke that weed, you're going to be in a whole other zone now. But, back then, I remember Pac like that, Of course, until later on, then we connected more and did music. But at that time, I wasn't doing music with him. I was just hanging out with him, with Shock. So that's how far we go back.
So what music, what records did you and Pac, what happened? Tell us the experience with you being in the studio with Tupac and Digital Underground and just taking off with Eazy-E and doing more music, and eventually doing hip hop radio and being
right. That's how the journey went. The journey went from just hanging around
on that ride
and hanging around with Shock, and then Pac being there and just knowing that he's part of the crew. We go to Gavin conventions. Gavin conventions were the biggest convention in hip hop.
True.
Everybody went from the East Coast, come down out here to the Bay Area, and we were here already. So everybody Boss came down from Detroit. I later hooked up with them and produced some songs for them. Everybody, Brand Nubians, you name it, leaders of the new school.
True. True indeed.
Twista, everybody from across the whole, United States that was in the hip hop came to these Gavin conventions, and people know what I'm talking about if you're my age or your age, up in the over 40, right? So, that's how it was. And then later on, I decided to, I sent a demo tape to, actually the management at that time named Kim Collette. She sent a tape of this girl I was producing named Shakilla to South Central Cartel in LA. They were signed to Def Jam at the time.
Okay.
They liked the song that I did. They loved the production, so they brought me and the artist Shakilla out there. So when I went out there to LA, I was hanging out with all them, and then, met everybody, South Central Cartel, and made a relationship with them. Then comes this other girl rapper. She liked my beats, and she wanted me to be her DJ. I want you to be my DJ. Her name was D the Mad Bitch. That's what we called her. I don't know if you can cuss and say that, but my bad. D the Mad BITCH. That's what she was signed with Russell Simmons, because Russell signed her and a girl named Lachelle Laws, which was the group called Boss. They had a hit song called Deeper. produced by Def Jeff.
Okay, this is when Sony Music was doing the distribution for Def Jam.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And at that time, Def Jam hired a whole new office in the West Coast.
West Coast,
which
right?
is called Def Jam West, which later signed Warren G and stuff like that. So amongst all that going on, I took the job that she said to be her DJ, and I was hanging out with them every day. And then I'm in the studio. Next thing you know, I go to the next room to get some water or whatnot. And there's Tupac. He's in there recording. Okay. I'm like, Pac, yo, what's up? I go, man, I feel at home now. When I see him, you know how it is when you see somebody, you know, it's like, man, I feel at ease now, because this was when I was first, you know, being in LA from the Bay Area. You know, even though my family's originally from Los Angeles, I wasn't. I was born and raised in the Bay, you know.
Right.
And I was like about, probably like 19, 20 back then, 20 something, young. And, you know, to be embraced like that and to see Pac, and then later on Shock G come like a week later, it was just a family affair, just all once again in LA. And I was in the studio for the whole time when he did Me Against the World. And at that time, see, a lot of people don't understand, Tupac was at that time, people knew him, but they didn't treat him like how they, you know, how you hear about him now. Like it seems like after he died, and all of a sudden he just blew up to like crazy mass stardom. But they knew him like I was calling him Bishop. I wasn't calling him Bishop around the Digital Underground time because he didn't do the movie then. But when I seen him again, I said Pac, and then I started calling him Bishop because of the movie Juice.
Juice, right?
He was fresh out of that movie when I seen him. Yeah, completed that movie and it was out. And he was doing Me Against the World, that whole album.
Yeah, classic.
Right next door to my sessions. And I became a part of his sessions, and his sessions became a part of my sessions. That's how it worked.
So what were the records that
there was no...
What were the records that you produced for Tupac and DJ'd?
I did a song called Real Bad Boys. And it was based off of the inner city theme from Cops, the Cop Show. I came up with the hook and everything, but I didn't come up with the concept of the song. A brother by the name of George Tillman Jr. and Robert Tito came up with the concept of the song as far as the script, because it was written for a movie called Scenes for the Soul. You can look that up on IMDb. So I was in charge of the soundtrack for Scenes for the Soul with Robert Tito and George Tillman Jr., these brothers out of Chicago. They just started a film company called Menergy Films. And Menergy Films finished that movie and put that song later on that we did on that soundtrack, but I had the script already to the movie. So I gave Pac the script that day. Well, when I came back from, of course, meeting with them guys, and he read it and he wrote exactly like what that script was on that song, Real Bad Boys. What a lot of people think is that it's made for Bad Boy Entertainment, for Puff Daddy and everything, but that's not
what it was.
Everything just happened like that. Yeah, it's crazy because everything that Robert Tito and George Tillman Jr. wrote, he rapped it on that song. And so did Dee. She rapped on it too. The girl from Boss, she was the DJ for Shell from Boss. But Pac wrote exactly in like 16 measures of what that movie was about. And then later on in life, he gets caught up at Quad Studios and gets shot 6 times.
Right in New York.
The same exact, in New York. The same exact like script that was like written by George Tillman Jr. Now, no, George Tillman Jr., he's not into the hip hop game as far as, he's a film director.
A film producer and director.
Yeah, he's one of the biggest now. He made Men of Honor, he made Barbershop, Soul Food.
Yeah, Soul Food,
all that.
Yeah, Soul
That's
Food
my
series.
boy right there. I helped them get their first deal that they broke. I was a part of it onto Savoy Films.
Okay, and what did you do on Savoy Films? Were you doing the music? Were you doing the producing?
The music, just music. Yeah, just music. Yeah.
And for which artists?
Tupac. We put Tupac on there. That song "Real Bad Boys." They used it for.
But any other artists other than Tupac?
Dee the Mad Bee. Dee the Mad Bee. She was on there too, and a couple of Chicago artists that they had locally at the time too. So I think ours was like probably the biggest feature, being that we had Tupac and Dee from Boss there. So yeah, at that time, we just thought it was an independent film, and that's all. I didn't even know they were gonna blow up to be who they were. I knew they were hella dope and everything. You know, they have the potential, but I didn't know they would be just like Pac, the biggest in the world.
Your last days, the last days with Tupac. When was your last conversation with Tupac, and the last show that you worked with him on, as far as, you know, whether it's DJing at a show or being in the studio? When was the last time that you worked and spoke with him before he passed away, unfortunately, at such a young age?
Last time physically was DJing, but I remember the last time I talked to him was over the phone. Actually, he was in Can-Am studio, and I had connected him with his guy that's going to be his personal assistant, a brother by the name of Kendrick from Marin City, because those were my boys. Those were actually the guys that put out my first record out of Marin City. So it's all like within the family of Tupac. If you think about it, my whole history, even my first.
What was your first record that you put out?
Assassin Hitworks was put out by Kendrick Wells. Kendrick Wells was the guy that was with Tupac every day, damn near of his life, even filming all the juice footage that you ever seen behind the scenes.
Okay, yeah.
Kendrick flew from San Francisco, from Marin City to New York, and got all that back footage of Tupac. But he's been had footage of Tupac. He later became Tupac's assistant because I reconnected them two together. I was in Sacramento and I called Pac and hooked him up with Kendrick, for Kendrick to be his, but he already knew Kendrick, but they had lost connection, you know what I mean? So, okay.
So you was the mediator. You was able to bring those.
Yeah, the mediator, man, and to make that happen. And, you know, later on, then Kendrick came back to the Bay Area, but my last time talking to Pac he was finishing All Eyes on Me.
Wow.
Yeah, he was finishing All Eyes on Me, but he still had Machiavelli at the same time going on. See, he had all them ideas just all there.
Yeah.
So he was always doing songs. Some songs he would keep and put out later. Some songs he would he was just having the cuts that you hear now.
Yeah, he was gone. He was gone much too soon. God bless his soul and his legacy. It still goes on every single day, like all our fallen artists and soldiers and people in the arts, especially. And, you know, we just lost on the East Coast again, Brother Ecstasy from Houdini. Peace, love, and blessings to the Fletcher family. You know, these are all pioneers that all of you, including Tupac, had respected. Now you
see that I got the tattoo Love. I got the tattoo One Love. A lot of people think it's from Bob Marley, but it's from Houdini.
Wow, right there. That's what's up.
And I got the chills just saying that right now. You know what I mean? Because Ecstasy, man, refreshing just to hear his voice, his cool hat, how he always had it tilted to the side, and it was so cool. Nobody could ever sport a hat like Ecstasy. You know what I mean?
He had that style.
Friends, how many of us have it? All the way to One Love to I'm a Hoe. That's where I got Real Bad Boys from. I'm a Hoe, because I got that part that goes in the beginning.
Okay.
And I looped that, and then I put from LL Cool J, I got Dear Yvette. Woo, and I sampled just that woof part from LL Cool J's Dear Yvette. So I had the loop going with I'm a Hoe. Bad boy, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they coming for you? I had a reggae guy come in and sing it just like Inner Circle. And then Pac came in, he's I got these buses on my block and they after me, running around telling these niggas how they gonna capture me. It's getting crazy, it's hard to keep my mind up. Now should I buck up down and put my 9 up, saying a bad boy, just a boy that had it bad. I graduated from 22s to 357 max, running on these marks for they stash, and I ain't asking, give it up or get to blasting. The penitentiary will take care of me. A straight thug, the whole setup take care of me, you know. That's him.
So
right
DJ King Assassin, tell our audience the artists that you've also worked with, because you have a plethora and a great background in the musical history for those who don't know and they need to recognize as well. And you've been part of this great culture. Who else have you worked with? Eazy-E, and let us know.
Yeah, Eazy-E, Wyclef, Toussaint St. John. He always likes me saying his whole name when I say Wyclef. He's like, make sure
you work with Wyclef. Fugees.
John.
Okay.
Yeah, the Fugees, you know.
What did you do with Wyclef? What record did you
I got a whole album with Wyclef right now that we haven't even put out.
Oh, that's what's up. That's great.
We got well, if you search DJ King Assassin Wyclef, a lot of songs will pop up that got leaked, but then there's some that I have in the vault still that are unreleased. Same with Big Psych. Rest in peace, Big Psych. I work with Roger from Zap, the incredible Talk Box.
Oh, God rest his soul. We miss Roger. Tell everybody this one.
Wow. Yeah, see, this is the original Talk Box right here. This is the one that Uncle Raj uses. You know what I mean? It's called the Golden Throat. That's the Golden Throat. A lot of people, you know, they get these talk boxes, but they're made out of plastic. This one's made out of pure metal right here. This is like not plastic. These are hard to find. These are hard to find.
Yeah, God rest the soul of Roger and that whole and their movement, that whole Zap band. God rest his soul. He was an innovator for what he did, especially on the California Love record. And
yeah,
you know, we all miss him. You know, so and God bless his soul and his family. You know, who else he worked with? Because I know you worked with Easy-E. Let the audience let us know.
Easy-E was at the studios when me and Pac and D were working on tracks at Echo Sound on Los Feliz Boulevard. He was working in the studio too. And this was when Pac was working on his stuff. And then there was Ice Cube was even working in there at the same time. You know, these were all studio sessions going on, and they had to beef at this time. But see, what people don't understand, it wasn't like that. Like, just because if they were to see each other, they wouldn't say nothing. It wasn't like fighting or nothing like that. It was nothing like that. A lot of people think like, you know, these beefs are like, they're only real to a certain point, but it's not with Eazy-E and Ice Cube. It wasn't like they wanted to kill each other or nothing like that. It wasn't like, you know, as much as tension as Biggie and Pac. It wasn't like that. You know, there was tension with Biggie and Pac and the crews, you know, with Death Row and Bad Boy, but with Easy and Ice Cube, there wasn't like beef like that as far as, because I witnessed it. I was there. Easy wasn't set tripping on Cube, and Cube is a quiet dude. He don't start shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
yeah, God rest his soul of Eazy-E.
So what happened was
but let us know, DJ said, let us know what were the records. Let us know not only the records, but let us know like the DJing and the battles that you've had with any other DJs and the shows and any mix shows that the audience needs to tune in to check you out, because you've been around the block so many times and you love the music and you've been influenced by the funk. So let us know what you're doing.
Well, you know, I stay light year grooving, you know what I mean, and devoid for the funk, you know what I mean? And when it's time to devoid for the funk, when it comes to the DJ aspect, right? The Eazy-E situation, I'm going to tell that story too, because it's incredible. Like, I did the scratching, all that stuff that you heard Dr. Dre, where he's dissing Dr. Dre, of easy, book a bitch, all that stuff. You know, I can't say the bad words, but I did the scratching on that. The reason why I did the scratch on that is big shout out to Roach Killer, Stefan Sam. I was in a session with MC Ren hanging out with Toothy from Compton, just hanging out at Echo Sound, you know, because I sold him a lot of keyboards, you know, analog stuff before. He just liked me there. I'd love to be there, just, you know, witnessing what he was doing. In comes Stefan Sam. Hey, we need a DJ right now for Easy. I said, hell yeah, I'll do it. The tables were already there, so I just took the tables over there. Next thing you know, I'm scratching all, you know, coming up with, there was records there already. I had my record crate there. It just stayed there. And of course I have Eazy-E in my crates, because I was just waiting for that moment, you know, to do something with Eazy-E. And I got to do it. I got to do it being there at Echo Sound, and I scratched all that. And a lot of people don't know, like, to this day, because it didn't come out on the credits. You know, people probably think Yella did or whatever, but Yella didn't do the scratching. I did the scratching. Just like when I did Resurrection of Eazy-E with his son E3, me and Cocaine. That's me doing the scratching and all that. Couple Comptons in the house, all that stuff. But I did the.
Did you get production? Did you get production credit and points? And
Easy said I would, but
so what about royalties? Have you been able to get royalties for those?
No, not for the scratching, because I think you got to like feature on a song to get the royalties, as far as like, you know, with your voice and stuff like that. When it comes to the DJ aspect, it's like they would just like pay, you know, whatever it was and call it the day. But I didn't ask nothing from Eazy-E. I just told him, am I gonna get the credits? But I was kind of like glad that I didn't get the credits because I didn't want Dre tripping off me because I didn't do it like inspired Dre. You know, Dre, I looked up to him. You know what I mean? Like Dre is the sickest producer ever. I wasn't gonna like intentionally diss him like on my own, no, because I had nothing against him. I was just doing my job, what they wanted me to do, and I came up with all the different segments that were dissing Dre, but I did it so crazy, you know what I mean? Like, look at that. It was just me going in.
Yeah, we wish Dre well. Godspeed to his recovery and his health.
Yeah, because I was worried about him, you know, with that aneurysm and what he's going through with his wife, well, his ex-wife, you know, to be going through something like that. That's crazy, man. That's a whole other story.
We wish him and the family the best. But you said you didn't get those credits, but people knew and Dre knew. What?
Yeah, they know.
What producers credit?
Like the producer,
very important for DJs. What did you get so far with other artists, whether they be MCs or R&B or any other genres or even Latino music? You know.
Well, you know what? Now
what have you been doing and been to get
well, you know,
credits?
I dibbled and dabbled in everything, even in house music. You know what I mean? When it comes to being a DJ, so. Even the Latin music, you know, I produced some stuff for Juvenile Style. They're called Aqua now, and they rap all in Spanish. But I did their stuff when they were younger. They rapped in English, and I produced their stuff. The Cavi hit. I was just saying a comment the other day on YouTube about that. Me and Stan, the guitar man, did that production. Who played guitar on NWA stuff.
Okay.
And we just got it in back then, and that's how it was. You know, a lot of the times, and this is what I would tell the DJs now is to, you know, definitely, of course, now, if I knew what I knew now, then I probably would have handled it more business accordingly too,
right?
Doing stuff to get paid.
Yeah, because you know, this business is like 99% business and 1%
well, you know what?
music.
People die.
But you're doing it, and then you're doing it for the love, which is great, because you should always do it for the love, and that's the true essence of hip hop and the essence of anything that deals with music and the arts and community and culture that uplifts us and humanity.
You know what, RJ?
Where can people contact you? First of all, give us your contacts, and second of all, let us know before we wrap up all of your energy, which you have a lot of, and projects future projects that you're working on. Let our audience
that's
know
what Shock used to tell me the same thing. Shock G would tell me, man, you have a lot of energy. That's how, you know, he remembered me from back in the days, man, when we rekindled our relationship. He's all, the first thing when I met you, man, was your energy. That's what I liked about you. He's all, it wasn't anything else besides your energy. I knew you had talent or whatever, but he said that didn't even matter. It was just the energy. And I always thought about that, you know, and, you know, we're talking like when we're kids here, and I still like somewhat have that energy, but you know what I mean? Back then it was real kind of crazy, mad, insane energy. Like, yo, I'm gonna get this, yo, you're gonna do that. But then he said like this, and you looked at me too when you said that, you're gonna get on this. Like, I looked at him seriously, and that's what he loved. But Shock, man, you tell a story better than me when you talk about me to him, you know what I mean? It's brothers like that helped me get into this industry, and that I looked up to and made me feel comfortable to where they didn't care about credentials at that time, because I didn't have no credentials at that time. Nobody knew who I was besides them by, you know, being a friend. It was like friends. So, you know, and then I was saying with the credits and all that, you just got to, you know, for all the young DJs out there, just make sure you have your paperwork in order. And, you know, of course, now I put everything out myself or with Cocaine from Buddy Boy Entertainment. And, you know, that's how we do it, man. You know, we're in charge of stuff now besides, you know, being on other people's stuff. We're actually putting the stuff out now. So that's how, you know, I changed the game as far as, you know, business wise. That's why I'm still somewhat relevant, if you want to call it. You know what I mean? I'm still dropping records, but I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah. Do you have a radio? Where can people contact you? And do you have a radio show? Where can people listen to you? Where
I got the King Assassin
interested in as far as production and music? And are you doing any scores for any future movies? And doing any
I got a film that I'm doing
up when things get better and healthy enough for people to tour and stay safe? Where can people actually contact you and tell us several projects that you got coming up for the future this year? You
can contact me at CEO@DJKing Assassin. And when you spell assassin, it's ASSASS.IN. And that's my website, DJKingASSASS.IN. So it's DJ King Assassin is my website. You just put the dot before the I and the N. So it's kind of like easy, right? DJ King Assassin, put the dot before the I and the N, and you get right to me, and that's the mothership. You hit the mothership. Once you're in the mothership, you just flying, and we just taking you across everywhere where we go. You know what I mean? So tap into that. You're gonna be tapped into the whole hub. You're gonna be tapped into that hub, and you're gonna make it happen. You know what I mean? Because we're gonna make some things happen. And I'm the type of dude, I work with anybody. If you're dope and you're serious about it, man, I ain't even talking about no money or nothing. I'm just talking about good talent and getting your stuff out there. You know what I mean? And when it comes down to the money situation, we'll get our percentage for putting the stuff out, a certain percentage. I think it's like 10%, for distribution.
You deserve to earn a living for the blessing that you have. And you seem like you, and George Clinton would say, you staying knee deep in it.
That's right. Knee deep.
Knee deep. So,
that's right.
So before we go, name us some of the places in hip hop in the Bay Area, in Oaktown and Compton, where people can go and hear not only live bands, but really good hip hop that deals with all the elements from the b-boy and the graffiti, the DJ and the MC and the breaking, and the West Coast flavor that a lot of us and we still love today.
Well, one of my main spots, and it's my main spot because I can actually go to the spot at any time and really rock the tables and do anything I want to do and book the club anytime I want to book it. It's called Characters in Pomona, California. So shout outs to Characters in Pomona. Come to Characters in Pomona. After the COVID, I think even sometimes during the COVID, you can sneak in there and sneak out. They don't let too many people in there at one time because you just can't do it because the epidemic was going on right now. But that's where you go. Pomona, Characters, man. And if you're in the Bay Area, there's a lot of great clubs in the Bay Area. Everything changes the names all the time. We got the Deco Club out there. The Devil's Lounge is pretty cool. Go to my website. If you ever come to California, you can just see, everything that we're doing. As soon as this COVID is over, we're going to have a long list of all the different places we're going. Me and Cocaine, the rest of the crew, Guap Don Dollar Signs, K9 the Boss, new and upcoming rappers. Also, we're still working with D the Mad, B-I-T. She goes by the name of D Yada. She's out of Detroit. She got her daughter named Q. Still working with her, making things happen. But, it's nothing without God, man. You got to keep God first because he's the one that makes everything happen. I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for him.
None of us would be
here. And for the good players that I keep myself around, positivity, man, is the main key because it controls everything.
And anyone that's trying, what would be your words of inspiration for our audience? We always have words of inspiration for our Matter How to Pro audience. What would you tell a young person or someone who's looking to DJ, looking to produce, and looking to actually make an impact in this beautiful culture that we call hip hop and music worldwide?
Is to never give up, because there's sometimes, where you're going to become discouraged because, you're not where you feel you need to be at the time, whether it's financially or whether it's just physically, as far as maybe, you don't have the right connections to get to where you got to get. That happened a lot to me when I was younger, but it was more of a situation. We didn't have what we have now. So utilize the internet because that's your way of connecting with people. As long as you stay healthy and keep God first, you can do anything. You put your mind to it. You can. If you're a producer, you're a dancer, you know what I mean? We forget about the dancers because they're important. I used to break dance back in the days. I got trophies. Okay. You was dancing. I work with MC Hammer too. I forgot MC Hammer, man.
MC Hammer. Man. Shout out to MC Hammer.
Yeah, I work with Hammer man, that's my dog right there. I do a lot of his social networking, so that's a whole another realm that I do besides the music is, I help promote and break these records because I'm a DJ. I know how to break the records. I know how to take them to all the record pools, put them in the record pools, put them on all the stations. We got 24 stations. I got 24 stations that I own. I own 98 to the beat Compton. You know what I mean? It's one of the first internet stations out here in California. I own a station in Inglewood, California. It's an FM station called KMIX.
Wow.
You can go to top12.tv for all my stations, 24 of them.
Wow.
We got 98.4 Hardcore Cafe in New York City. We got WMO in Motown, Detroit.
And what music are you playing from 80s, 90s, as well as current? You know, and also let us know what's your favorite new school artist today, as well as your classic true school artists from 70s on in hip hop, as well as R&B, dance, or any other genre that you love to play when you're listening for inspiration and having a good time.
Believe it or not, I stick to the 90s when it's me personally, and I put on my playlist. It's like more 90s stuff. It's like Public Enemy. It's like, you know, who else? Main Source, Large Professor. Stetsasonic, Ultramagnetic MCs.
Wow.
MC
yes,
Ultra.
East Coast. MC Ultra.
Oh, that's another story. You know who was there when I was with Tupac? I introduced him to Tupac, and maybe if you ever get him on the show.
Shout out to Said G and their whole Ultramagnetic crew. Yes.
Man, I love it. I listened to them yesterday, Ultramagnetic.
Yeah.
You know, crazy, man. All this stuff. Said G, the way he put together, you know, that's how I like producing, like that right there. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
Yeah.
With the boom in the back. Yeah. From the east to the west and worldwide. That's right.
Now I introduced Tupac to his DJ, Kool Keith's DJ named Cutmaster Kurt, because Cutmaster Kurt is from Santa Cruz. He was at the Gavin convention. If you ever get him on your show, you can ask him about that. Yeah, It was crazy.
Wow.
Even though he didn't like listen to the gangster rap or even digital underground funk, he was more into like Kool Keith, like into the East Coast hip hop. He was strictly hardcore East Coast Cutmaster Kurt. And I love him for that too, because I'm into that too, but I listen to everything, you know what I mean? When it came down to it, I just love good music, even house music, Chicago, you know what I mean? I was listening to everything, WBMX, I could BMX tapes.
Yeah,
I would get the tapes from New York with Mr. Magic waving his wand. He was the wand. He was the guy that's why they call him Mr. Magic with the wand, because he would break records, and that wand was to break the records and make stars out of people.
Yeah, and God bless the soul of Mr. Magic, one of our pioneer DJs here in New York, and anyone that has fallen, whether it's b-boying, breaking D, all the MCs, males, female, graffiti artists, you name it, pioneers, R&B, and the whole music and art and film, and just human beings worldwide, man. We thank you. And this is Matter Hatter Pro, RJ Arnold. We thank DJ King Assassin from the West Coast, DJ extraordinary and producer / entrepreneur, for coming
RJ out. And Carmel, shout out to Carmel over there, you know what I mean?
Peace,
an honor.
Yeah, it's an honor. Peace, love, and blessings. Everybody keep God first and foremost, and thank you until we see each other here again. Peace, love, soul, and health.
Hey, RJ, I got the chills just talking here, man. I swear to God, the chills just all through here, man, because it's been so inspirational, so deep talking about what we talked about, man. You asked the incredible questions, and man, God bless you. And I'm a fan of the show, man. I'm just gonna kick back and watch that, and I'm going to see that John Lennon stuff right now. Yes. I didn't forget, you see? You didn't forget.
Yeah, thank you.
I love you, bro. Love you, man. Matter.